The American dream may be slipping away for Indian tech workers. For decades, a visa to the United States represented a career breakthrough. For generations of Indian engineers, the H-1B visa was more than a work permit. It was a one-way ticket to the Silicon Valley and global opportunities. But that journey is increasingly turning into a round trip. For the first time in years, the gap between Indians moving to the US and those returning home is narrowing rapidly. Specialist staffing firm Xpheno has been tracking the movement of Indian tech professionals between the two countries. The numbers tell a striking story. In 2026 alone, 7,300 tech workers have returned to India, and the year is only halfway through. Last year, that figure stood out at 15,100, up from 9,800 in 2024. At the same time, outbound migration is slowing. While 21,200 professionals moved to the US in 2025, the figure for 2026 so far stands at just over 9,100. Xpheno now estimates that for the first time, the number of returnees could exceed the number of professionals heading to the US before the year ends. The biggest reason is growing policy uncertainty in Washington. The H-1B visa program, long the backbone of Indian tech migration to the US, is facing increasing pressure. Stricter compliance requirements, proposals such as the $100,000 sponsorship fee, and tighter processing norms have made employers far more cautious about hiring foreign workers. For those already in the US, the risks are also rising. Workers who lose their jobs have just 60 days to find a new sponsor. If they fail, they must leave the country.
Even though you have done all you could, you have legally obliged, you have economically, contributed as much as you could, and they can still create such an antagonizing environment for you that it's no longer viable for you to live, then that leaves really deep scars. And people don't forget that. We think about Kash Patel in the United States, who came up to become the FBI director, his parents, and there's so many more examples and stories. So I don't know if this is just a short-term issue, or even if it's a short-term policy that will be rescinded or will kind of go back to, those long-term scars will continue.
The challenge is that the country many of them are returning to is not exactly experiencing a hiring boom either. India's tech job market has fallen to a 28-month low. According to Xpheno's Active Tech Jobs Outlook, active openings dropped to 93,000 in June, which is down 14% from 108,000 a month earlier. It marks the sharpest monthly decline in more than a year. The slowdown spans IT services, tech startups, and software product companies. Tech giants such as TCS, Wipro, and Infosys are already grappling with concerns over AI-driven disruption to their core businesses. The only bright spot has been Global Capability Centers, or GCCs. While GCC hiring grew 31% year-on-year, it still declined 6% compared to the previous month. Experts say artificial intelligence is a key factor behind the slowdown. As AI adoption accelerates across software development, India, one of the world's largest technology talent markets, is beginning to feel the impact. And into this already weak job markets, thousands of H-1B workers who have lost their jobs in the US may now be returning, making competition even tougher.
Yes, you will have an overflooding of capable individuals in the market, in the economy, that are substantially more experienced than freshers. But this has been going on. These strides and circles go on and on and on. And will it be a shock to a system? Potentially. But the inundation of very qualified individuals who have experience and exposure and the resources is not a bad thing. Right? Why wouldn't India open its arm back to its own Indian citizens who are now just substantially more qualified to come in and build this kind of next generation, next kind of transition for the country?
Against this backdrop, one company stands out. While much of big tech is pulling back on overseas hiring, Nvidia is doubling down. The company behind the chips powering the global AI boom has expanded its H-1B certification even as many of its rivals scale back. Google's foreign hires have fallen by more than half, while Amazon's approvals have been dropped by nearly a third. Nvidia, however, continues to hire aggressively and is offering salaries that would turn heads anywhere in the world. Some senior roles come with base pay exceeding 4.5 crore rupees a year, even before stock awards and bonuses are factored in.
These big tech companies are in for the business. They're not in philanthropy. They're not in the charity business. They're out there competing as much as they can to the extent they can, and they're going to keep attracting the best brains. And if that means forking out $100,000 or $200,000, they will go for it.
The message from Nvidia is clear. When talent is indispensable, nationality becomes secondary. But for most Indian tech workers, there is no easy path forward. The door to America is narrowing, with tighter visa rules, fewer sponsors, and a job market shedding more jobs than it creates. The door back home is not opening much wide either. Hiring is at a 2-year low, and a growing pool of experienced professionals is competing for a shrinking number of opportunities. Nvidia may be the exception, but exceptions by definition are rare. For most Indian tech workers, the future remains uncertain on both sides of the world.